There are millions of single Christian women over 50 around the globe. The heart of Jesus People Sisterhood is to encourage and unite these sisters. One way is to have sisters come and share their story and their lives on the podcast, which is why we started the Listener Spotlight. Today's episode is a Listener Spotlight with Tuere. Welcome to the Jesus People Sisterhood podcast, a place where Christian single women aged 50 plus connect. I am your host, Janine Jordan, a Christian confidence coach and leadership mentor in Alberta, Canada.
And I'm your co-host, Ellie McCormick, a Christian longevity coach and mentor in the USA. Being single women over 50, we know what it's like to feel overlooked, to have unrealized dreams, to experience the challenges of singlehood, and to be concerned about what our future will look like. We couldn't find anything online for single Christian women over 50, so we created Jesus People Sisterhood just for you, a place where sisters encourage and empower one another through the last third of life, because you are a treasure trove of wisdom and of exceedingly great value. This is an authentic community, a supportive family, with other women on the same journey where Jesus is the center of it all. Here you will find real talk, real community, and real sisters.
Join us as we discuss building relationships, whole health, and growing spiritually. We'll review helpful books and articles, chat with guest speakers, share success stories, and have some laughs along the way. So grab your favorite beverage and we'll get started.
Welcome, sisters, to this episode of the Jesus People Sisterhood podcast, the only podcast specifically for single Christian women over 50. Today, we give a shout out to our sisters in Alabama. Thank you for listening. It's a blessing to provide this podcast for free, but it does cost us to produce Jesus People Sisterhood episodes. It would be a great blessing to us that if you decide to buy a book mentioned in this podcast, you purchase it through the link in our episode show notes. Would you like to meet up with other Jesus People sisters online? We plan to start a book discussion group in late September. We'll be discussing the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This will be an informal online Zoom call where sisters will read a chapter in the book and share with and encourage one another to make the habit changes discussed. The group will provide accountability and encouragement to make positive changes and to connect us in community. A link to purchase the book will be in the show notes. If you would like to participate, please contact us at Janine and Ellie at JesusPeopleSisterhood.com. For safety reasons, you must be a member of the JPS private Facebook group to participate. So if you're not currently a member, please join. And if you're not on Facebook, please let us know that. There are limited spaces for this book discussion group. Membership will be accepted on a first-come, first-served basis. So don't wait to contact us.
Today's episode is a listener spotlight with Tuere. We want everyone to get to know our listeners, and so we'll be doing listener spotlight episodes from time to time. If you would like to share your testimony or what the Lord is doing in your life currently, please contact us at support@JesusPeopleSisterhood.com. We would love to have our listeners come and share with the sisterhood. And now, let's get to today's episode. Tuere has been living in Charlotte for 6 years. She is an empty nester and loves walking trails and hiking. Her happy place is the beach. Tuere likes trying new things that aren't touristy. And if there are any Jesus People sisters in the Charlotte area, Tuere would love to connect with you. You can contact her by posting in the JPS Facebook group or sending us an email at support@JesusPeopleSisterhood.com. Welcome, Tuere. It's a pleasure to have you as our guest today. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your ministry?
Okay, so my name is Tuere. I'm originally born and raised in Bronx, New York City, and I've moved to 4 of the states since then. I'm currently in North Carolina and Charlotte, and I don't have a ministry. I just believe that I am called to intercede and pray for people, and that's what I've done on my most recent job is I've prayed for people.
Wow, that's a fun job to pray for people. So
Mhm.
please tell our listeners how you came to know Jesus.
I was born and raised in a home that was Christian. So I don't have any specific date, but I will say that I've come to know him more for myself in the past 7, 8 years.
Hmm.
More personally, more intimately for myself. And I say that specifically because when I was a kid, I just believed a lot out of fear.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Because that was the climate of church that I came from. Of you're going to hell for this, you're going to hell for that. Just do. And when I would ask questions, nobody really had answers to them. And I was like, well, what if this isn't real? And so I clearly remember saying, well, I better believe because I don't want to find out the hard way. So moving fast forward, yeah, I didn't know if you had something else.
Hmm. So what was it like in the last 7 or 8 years that made you
Mhm.
realize it was real and it kind of took more ownership of your faith?
Mhm.
I think what happened was I'm an empty nester, and life was not what I expected. Being an empty nester wasn't like, oh, yay. It was like, who am I? What's going on?
Mm.
And it was a very hard time, a very hard transition. And I'm still going through that, but I began to question more.
Mhm.
And what I was hearing in church was not enough.
Mhm.
It just wasn't enough. And it just had me questioning and questioning. And because now I wasn't so busy with being a mom, I
Mhm.
had a lot more time, mental time, physical time. I just had a lot more time on my hands, more than I was used to. And it was like, okay, what's going on? What is this really about? Who are you really? What can you do? Because you hear, don't ask God this, don't do that, don't. And it's like, and the more I started learning about him for myself, I realized a lot of things. It's two parts. Some things people taught because they didn't know any better, and
Mhm.
some things people taught out of manipulation and control.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter which one, the different churches that I've been to, that's irrelevant. But it just had me to learn, oh, well, if God is gracious and he's loving, then I don't have to be afraid to ask him nothing. Like, people say, don't ask for patience because you might get it. Well, if I need it, then I'm going to ask him for
That's
it.
good.
So it's like, just little myths just little things that I was just taught or heard over the years. I just started challenging, saying, oh, that's not true. Oh, no, that don't sound right. That doesn't sound like, it sounds like we're talking about two different people,
Mhm.
so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Mhm. I think that there are empty nesters that do come to that realization. They have their world sort of open up. And Ellie and I are both empty nesters as well. And so, yeah, I can really relate to that. And I think that I grew up in a Baptist setting, sort of thing. So, and I know there was a lot of fear-based learning there as well. I can totally relate to that. He's a loving God, and he loves us. And you're right. I think he really does want us to ask those questions. So. I guess, yeah, I'm sure Ellie would agree as well. And so this leads to our next question. So as you got to know the Lord and as that was going on, what would you say are the most important lessons the Lord has taught you in life so far?
Uh, don't be afraid to ask him anything. Nothing, nothing. And he's not distant
Mhm.
from us. He's not up in the sky. He
Mhm.
is in us, all around us. He created the whole world, the whole earth, and all of this is his. And
Mm.
he speaks through everything, through the trees, through the grass, the sun, the stars, nature, like, and that's reflected back in the Bible. He used everything. And I don't know if this might ruffle feathers, but with the earth being his answers are not just in the Bible as well. because you can't condense him to just one book. He's too big. And everything he has done and will do has not been written. Everything he has done, is doing, and will do is not all written.
Mm.
Right.
Mhm.
And his
Yeah, go
word is
ahead.
not just written word.
Right.
Mm.
Exactly. Exactly. And because that's where the relationship comes in. And that's what he reflected when Jesus came. He reflected relationship. He didn't throw the Torah at them and say, read this,
Hmm.
do what that says. He was very interpersonal,
Mhm. Mhm.
very much. And just like if I was to write a book about me, which one would you learn more from? Reading the book or getting to know me in real time?
Mm.
So I look at God the same way. I look at it the same way.
Yep. Yep. Totally agree. What do you believe is your specific life calling?
Well, I will tell you the job that I had, when I was praying for people, it was the first time I ever prayed for people. I didn't know that was my gift. I didn't know that. And it was very uncomfortable at first, but I can feel the Holy Spirit just giving me things to say. I don't have to make it up. I don't have to think about it. He would just flow. And I think the best is, the more is yet to come. I feel like I'm just starting to allow myself to step out of my comfort and into what he has for me and what he created me for.
Mm.
And my previous life, as I said, I've moved around, and I don't think I'm done, but, and I'm fine with that. And so therefore, my friend used to say it, and I believe it's true. Life really can be an adventure.
Yep.
And when
Mm.
you let go of the reins, you really will surprise yourself as to, no matter what the news says, you can surprise yourself as to how fun life can be outside of the commercial fun.
Yep. Yep. So, how did you come upon the job where you get to pray for people? Tell,
Yeah.
tell us the
So,
backstory.
okay, so I moved to North Carolina because I lived in Virginia. I was taking care of my grandmother and helping my uncle take care of my grandmother who was having dementia, and he had stage 4 cancer.
Mm.
So I left Florida to go help them, and it was my privilege and my honor. That's anyway. So then I moved to Virginia to help out. When she passed, he wanted to be alone, and I didn't understand it. But then months later, he died. And I think he wanted to have that space to do it. And so I ended up in North Carolina, and it was hard to transition from those deaths and keep moving, but I did. And I was working at a job, and it was during COVID, and it was rough because I
Mm.
worked for a cable company, and you know, cable and internet was the lifeline of the world. So imagine working for a cable company during COVID, and people are getting their internet shut off because they have past due bills and blah 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 blah, and you know, all of that, and that became stressful. And I did that for a year and a half, and I was like, God, my friend told me that there are still Christian businesses around. I was like, if that is true, I need that. I need to experience that.
Mm.
I
Mm.
want to experience that. I'm tired of the secular jobs.
Mm.
And I went to church one day. I tried this new church. And right after church, I said, okay, who do I talk to who knows about jobs?
Mm.
Who may know about somebody who may be hiring this woman? And you go to the guest area in the church, and they said, and she's like, oh, I would. She said, what are you looking for? I said, I was like, I'm looking to get out of the job that I'm at, but I do customer service. And she was like, okay, shoot me your resume. And I went on to work after that. And 30 minutes later, she's like, I know of a job. And, and I got called within a few weeks, and I started working there for 3 years. Now, the disclaimer is she told me before I got the job, just because it's a Christian place doesn't mean it's all peaches and cream. Well,
Yeah.
that
Mm.
was an understatement. And you 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 say yes, you know that, but you don't realize how challenging it is to
Mhm.
Mm.
be in a ministry atmosphere. And everybody's on different levels, just as they are in life, but the enemy comes for you even more.
Mm.
Mm.
because it's like the eye dichotomy. I can't explain it, but
Mhm.
it was the place that I needed because it was very low key. It was not high stress. But the challenge that I went through there was learning how to relax,
Mm.
learning that I don't have to be busy. I don't have to be overly efficient because, like I said, I came from New York City where you have everything was supposed to be done yesterday. So, you know, taking that northern perspective off of you is it doesn't flip a switch because you move south.
Right.
And then with the job being, I wasn't using my mind. It wasn't very cerebral, and I just felt so useless because I was used to being a single mom, juggling, and now I have all this time, all this energy, and that was very challenging. But
Mm.
God helped me learn to relax, to
Mm.
rest. Rest is important.
Mhm.
Resting and taking your time and doing the job unto Him, and not looking at a job as the end, always the end to justify the means. It's not always about a paycheck. He
Mhm.
was sculpting my personality, and He also taught me to not care about what people think of me, even among Christians, because
Mm.
this don't mean you're going to be like just because you're in a room full of them. And that I want you to learn to stand firm in who I called you to be, the way I created you. And
Mm.
even if you walk into rooms where nobody accepts you, I need you to get used to that. He said, I want you to have a Teflon skin and a soft heart.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so part of that piece then was that ministry for prayer, which is it
Yeah.
is
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm. Right. Right. Okay. Well, I think you're right. Just because you're in a Christian ministry doesn't mean that it's, like you said, all peaches and cream as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, so what is happening in your life currently, like right now?
Right now, I am, I left that job
Yeah.
and I'm getting a new job, which is totally different. It's going to be closer to home, working hybrid from home and 10 minutes away from my house as opposed to an hour commute. And as
Mm.
opposed to getting up at 5 in the morning, having to be there at 7:45, I get to get up at 6 and be there at 8:30.
Yep.
And I'm going to get to learn something new. It's going to be more cerebral. It's going to be working for an investment company doing, and I'll be learning. So it's a shift from not learning nothing for 3 years, thinking your
Mhm.
mind is turning to mush. That was a
Right.
challenge. To now using it
Mhm.
and shifting back. Now I'm not shifting back. I'm moving forward, but I'm going back to. I'm using my brain. I'm going to be using my brain more. And I actually, the other area of my life that God is working on is I have my grown daughter and my grandson living with me,
Mm.
and they've been with me. And that's been a very hard challenge that God has used. I've never been married. So it showed me how I come across, how I really talk to people. Even though she's my daughter, she's still a person and she's still an adult. And I was still treating her like I'm the mom and she's the
Mm.
child. And trying to learn grace because she fell on hard times, trying to establish boundaries, healing from the past, trying to
Mhm.
juggle all of that, all of that. And the other area is church. I find that church is very challenging for me, even to this day, because it's very hard to connect, very
Mm.
hard to connect. But I asked God, does He still want me to go? He said, you're not ready to go out on your own yet, because He still wants to establish being used to getting used to being uncomfortable, being in an uncomfortable environment where everybody may not love you, accept you, or receive you, and still standing firm and
Mm.
not running from that. Because he was like, the higher you go, it's gonna get tougher.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
gonna get it's kind of like Jeremiah running, or not Jeremiah, it's the prophet that got scared of
Jonah.
Jezebel.
Yep.
So
Oh,
you
I,
you can't
Elijah.
you can't run. Yeah, Elijah, you can't run every time it gets uncomfortable when you have a track record. God has a track record with you.
Mm.
He has references. Like he's not going to let nobody devour you. You may get hurt, but not devour you.
Mm.
Mm.
He won't allow it. And you just got to learn to. I have to learn to stand firm that
Mm-hmm.
this is where I'm supposed to be, and not to take everybody else personal, because I don't know what they're going through.
Right.
I don't know why I don't really know the why that I'm there yet. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. But if I keep running and if I'm only staying in comfortable places, how useful am I really going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I've heard it said many times, if you're not ever feeling uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's only growth when you are uncomfortable in some way.
Right. Right. And I think that's an encouragement to our ladies right there too, to do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not that we should just put ourselves in uncomfortable situations. It may be that we're
No,
not supposed
but
to be
I
there,
don't think
but
it's a matter. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right.
this I didn't place myself here. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And that's the other thing. I've learned that I do run when things get uncomfortable. And
Mhm.
if I keep running, I'm going to keep running into uncomfortability until I learn why. And the
Mm.
why is I want you to get comfortable. I want not comfortable, but I want you to stand firm. Like if
Mm.
you are this, then be this, regardless of what everybody else is saying or doing. I want
Mm.
you to be this. If I made you to be quiet, then be quiet. You don't have to become an extrovert if you're not. You don't have to become an introvert if you're not. You don't have to contort yourself
Mhm.
to what everybody else is doing to show that, look, I'm here. I want to get along with you guys. Maybe
Mm.
that's not why you're there. Maybe you're
Right.
there to stand out, and that's going to draw something to you. Like I give you an example. I was at the company for 3 years, but at the end when I left, a lady said, she said they had a department meeting or whatever, and she said she prays for people. She said that is a praying woman. She said I have sensed people get delivered from her prayers, whether she knows it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And another person said, "Oh, she has prayed for me. She's encouraged me. She's increased my
Mm-hmm.
faith. She has such words of wisdom." And she said, "When you leave here, don't stop praying for people." She said, "People need that. They need what you have. Don't go silent." And these are two people that I don't even work with on a regular basis, and that I
Right.
didn't even know was paying that much attention to me, that I didn't even know was really seeing me or anything. So you don't know why you are where you are, and no matter how awkward you may feel or how out of sync, God has said, stop contorting, stop trying to fit in, just be you.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so what if you don't fit in? So I say that to say you never know why you are where you are until sometimes it's over. And the person you least expect that's going to speak up on your behalf, that sees you for who you really are, and the ones you work closely with, kind of like family, Jesus said you may not be accepted among your own hometown and your family, but the
Mm-hmm.
one you least expect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, we don't realize the impact that we have on people, and we
Mm-hmm.
probably won't find out till we go home.
That's right.
There's going to be
Yeah.
testimonies of how
Yeah.
we impacted people.
Mm.
And we're going to be surprised who's in heaven.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true too. Right. We definitely have to learn to be as comfortable as we can in the circumstances that we're in, just like Paul, no matter kind of where.
Yep.
Isn't that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I think the beauty of being older women is
Mm.
that we do start to come into our own kind of
Yeah.
who we really are. We do
Right.
start to say, I've been trying to please people for 50 plus years. And
That's
and
true.
there's
Yeah.
something that happens where you start to say, no, it's just I'm going to be who I am. But a lot of
Hmm.
times, like you said, when you become an empty nester, it's all of a sudden it's like, well, who am I?
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
that
True.
happens a lot too.
And
Hmm.
I encouraged the coworker who has younger kids. I said, don't wait until your kids get older to make time for you, because a switch is not going to flip when the kids leave home and say, okay, now I can be me. I was like, start now. And
Right.
it helps establish respect for people to say, I am not just a mother. I am not just the person you receive and take from. I have needs too.
Mm,
I said, start that as soon as possible. Don't wait until they're gone. It's not a switch is not going to flip. It's not.
right. That's good advice. Sound advice. Yeah. All right.
Okay, Tuere, so tell us, is there anything you would like to specifically share with single Christian women over 50?
The main thing I want to say is that I didn't know before I got to this age what to expect, but we don't need the world's permission to still live. We don't need no one to categorize us as the 50 plus over here. We
Mm,
can find out what you're good at, what you like, and who you want to be around, and don't let age, gender stop it. Like,
mm,
don't let people put you in the box and say, oh, these are the 20s to 30s. I can't stand that. These are just the women's ministry. I like homogeneous, like all mixed ages, race, gender, age, because we can all learn.
mm,
We can all learn.
yeah.
And your life is not, if God still gives you breath every day, then there's another day you have to do something. It's not over
Yeah.
until he says goodbye.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And you may go through transitions of things you never thought, right?
And when you get out there and get with other people, you'll find out you're not alone. And that is not, age is not a barrier. Don't use age as a barrier. Because
So good.
people who are 30 years old you can learn something from them and they can learn something from you. Watch the movie The Intern, where he was retired and he went to work for a company, a young company, and she just thought, oh, he's outdated, but they learned something from each other. The young
Mm,
can learn. That's why God keeps us around, not just
Right.
because, not to take up space, because we have something to offer as long as we're here.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. That's good. That's good. Yep.
Yeah.
All
Otherwise,
right.
he would just take us home. I mean, he wants us
Right.
to be with
When
him.
you're done, you
Yeah.
you won't need to be here no more.
That's
That,
that's true. That's true. But as we're sitting here, we're growing with some wisdom and some experience and some things to share, and we should just keep moving forward. So,
Keep
yeah,
moving.
keep moving. That's
Because
it.
it keeps you alive. I watched my grandmother, she didn't pass until 95, and
Mm,
she kept going. When you
mm,
sit down and stay still, you die younger and faster.
that,
hmm We know that to
And
be true.
and yeah, and transitions, it just means it doesn't. This is what I learned too from taking care of her. It's a very fine line about watching people get older where they still try to do what they used to be able to do when they were 50. There's a fine line between what you need to give up and what you need to give into.
mm,
Like, if you can't climb the ladders no more, it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean you're giving in to it. It just means that's not something that's necessary to hold on to.
Mm, yeah.
Let somebody help you and get and climb on the ladder. There's other things you can push for your independence and your autonomy. It does not have to be everything, because that's how a lot of times some people also die, because they're still trying to do everything the way they used to do it, and they won't let people help. They won't listen to sound
mm.
advice or wisdom.
Well, is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye? And thank you for sharing your story with us.
I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity of sharing myself, my thoughts, and my heart with other women. And thank you for your podcast. I've learned a lot from it. It's helped me to realize I'm not alone, because
Oh.
it can be lonely sometimes geographically, and not, if you're not retired and you're still working.
Hmm.
It sometimes it still is hard to meet people in your age range if you're still working, because they're retired, so they're out during the day.
Right, right. Yeah.
But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Oh,
Well,
it's a pleasure to have you.
it's been a pleasure for us for sure. Thank you for contacting us, getting in contact with us and sharing all you have to share. And we just know that our listeners are going to be encouraged too. And just thank you for taking
Thank
the time
you.
to be with us. Mhm.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please share any thoughts that resonated with you from today's podcast episode in our private Facebook group at Jesus People Sisterhood community. Start reaching out to other single women and create your local group of Jesus People Sisters. Please let us know about your group to add to our directory by contacting us at support@JesusPeopleSisterhood.com.
Have you had a good experience with a business? They've treated you honestly and helped you at a reasonable price? Please let us know. We would like to start a directory of JPS-friendly businesses. Let's care for one another.
Be blessed by Him who is able to protect you from stumbling and to make you stand in the presence of His glory, blameless and with great joy. Until next time. Hey, sister, before you go, thank you for listening. If you found value in today's podcast, the best way to say thank you is by leaving a 5-star written review at Apple Podcasts. That raises us in the rankings and helps other sisters find us too. And please tell a friend or post it on your social media. If you're a single Christian woman over 50, this podcast was created specifically for you. The Jesus People Sisterhood is your community to find support and friendship with other sisters who can understand. Be sure to follow us on your podcast app and join our free private Facebook group at Jesus People Sisterhood Community.
Jesus People Sisterhood has also started a private Facebook group for housing and co-living opportunities. You can check that out at Jesus People Sisterhood Senior Housing. You can also find us on Facebook at Jesus People Sisterhood and individually for Janine at riseupcoachingandconsulting.com and for Ellie at samaramountain.com. And ladies, this is the necessary disclaimer. Our podcast content is for informational purposes and does not constitute professional advice from mental health, medical, legal, financial, or other areas. The opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the hosts. It is our heart that this podcast will be a blessing to you. Together, let's build a powerful sisterhood with Jesus. Make a friend, add a sister, across the border and around the world.